Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the voice of the people. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
What broke him down? Was it just the body punching? I was hitting him with body punching. I heard him actually, he was crying there. You were saying that Gibbs was crying when you hit him? Yes. When did that happen? And perhaps the fourth round on? ThaBoxingvoice.com. So you knew you had him by that time? Absolutely, but I knew he was tough and he was taking those punches.
Productions.
Making women gestures like, oh.
Let's go, champ. This is the champ. Keep shaking the champ. With the fake champ. With Sally Riley. Let's go. ThaBoxingvoice.com. I'm a team like he's a C-plus fighter. I'm a dominant, I'm a dog fighter. I'm talking about punishment. We're going to punish you for 12 rounds. Either the referee says you had enough, or you can say you had enough.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. No, don't rub your eyes. It's true. We're back. Another episode of your favorite podcast, TBV. We are back with 2016 Knockout of the Year. And we have a few contenders, some notable mentions that need to be at least mentioned, but not necessarily made the cut. Great knockouts that took place this year. So obviously you know the number. And if you don't, 1-425-569-5241 is the number to call if you want to give us your candidate for 2016 Knockout of the Year, as well as our international callers. You can call in and do the same by adding Nestor Gibbs on Skype. Information right here on the screen. So, without further ado, let me introduce my co-host for today. You know him as the editor of TBV. Matt, what's going on, my friend? Matthew.
Hey, sorry. I forgot to unmute my board. My bad. I'm good. I'm excited to talk about Knockout of the Year. I think there's plenty of options out there to talk about, let alone what we're going to talk about when it comes to ESPN, because we're going to use that as a basic outline. But, Ed Archunovsky getting knocked out by Julius Ndongo is a huge knockout. Asane Dom knocking out Alfonso Blanco, who was undefeated. Monster knockout. And I know this is going to get some hate, but Canelo Alvarez knocking out Amir Khan deserves to be mentioned just because of the violent nature of that knockout.
I don't know, man. I don't know. We're going to see. We're definitely going to see what the people think. I mean, I'm waiting for the good doctor to get in so we could have his analysis of 2016's KO of the year. He should be about 5 minutes. So in the meantime, I guess we'll go down the line. What we should do actually is mention those that didn't make it to TBV's top 5 cut. So you got guys like, I don't know, who could we met? Well, obviously Ndongo is one. Julius Ndongo.
Yeah, Ndongo's obviously one. I think the one that does. I'm surprised didn't get mentioned.
There's something that people don't know about you particularly, right? And I feel like I have to tell them. I don't know if it's would be unfair of me or judgmental, but I feel like for those that don't know, Matthew might be the hipster of the group, right? Like he's the boxing snob, right? Like you see right away, he's like Julius Ndongo, it's a great knockout. And look, you heard me come on here, immediate reaction style right after the knockout, and I was excited, but my excitement was more gloating, right? The excitement came from gloating because guys that kind of, hang out with Matt, because guys that hang out with Matt were like whispering in the hallways how Terrence Crawford would duck Edward Turnowski. So when Edward Turnowski fights the unknown, not relatively unknown Julius Ndongo, which I would have never.
And I picked him. I picked Ndongo.
And you see, hipster to the T. Happy that he picked somebody no one ever heard of. So when he goes and knocks out Edward Tronowski, I'm thinking to myself, whoa. And this is the guy that Crawford was supposed to be afraid of. But in no shape or form does the beautiful knockout. It was definitely a looping overhand left that clobbered him, put him smooth out. But in no shape or form, to me, does that fall under knockout of the year. Now, does it fall under an honorable mention or a notable mention? Absolutely. Now, here's why. I'm picky, okay? And Julius is unknown, and so is Tronowski. And just because the hipsters said that Tronowski was going to be good or was good, that doesn't mean that he is. And you know my motto, we watch him till we got to watch him. That was the day we had to watch him. And sure enough, he proved not to be everything they said he would be. So why would we give an unknown dude credit for knocking out another unknown dude that we never heard of when there's so many known established fighters that scored knockouts this year over known established fighters? It just makes absolute no sense for me to give credit to two guys who aren't on that level, because again, if you put me versus my garbage man, I'm gonna knock that motherfucker out. I've been working out for over a year. I'm knocking him out. But if you put me in with Deontay Wilder, he will knock me out. So why give me fighter of the year or knockout of the year because I beat up a garbage man? It makes no fucking sense.
Well, first off, Tronowski was undefeated. Tronowski was highly touted, and I'm not going to say that he was the goods because I didn't think he was the goods. The guy was 36 years old, hadn't fought anyone of any note. But the fact that Ndongo was a plus 1,400 underdog, you know, that alone deserves some sort of credit. This guy was completely unknown. Tronowski was known, and Tronowski, like you know, was the new guy for boxing hipsters, because all the boxing hipsters love these Eastern Europeans right now. And for a guy to go in there and completely ice Tronowski, the hipster favorite at the time, in one round with a single shot, that's impressive. It is. And to get a belt from that, and to possibly get a fight with Terrence Crawford, a fight with Adrian Broner. Like, Ndongo can get any fight he wants now because of that belt.
I hear you. We would have to see with the rest of the boxing world if they feel that a fight that didn't get much attention, fighters that they didn't know, that they weren't invested in, all this matters to me. It really does. Like, it really does. For instance, Callum Smith, he knocked out Luke Blackledge. Like, who the cares? You know what I'm saying? Like,
true. No, that's a good point.
I don't even, and I only know Liam because of the Smith Brothers trilogy. I mean, not trilogy, but pedigree, and how it's a long line of fighters. How they all at least got into contender or champion status. But I don't know who the hell Blackledge is. You know what I mean?
True, and Blackledge wasn't a bad opponent, but I get your point that the level of either awareness or the elitism or
what was the other guy's name from the UK that fought Eubanks that had the same kind of name like Blackledge? It almost sounded the same way.
Blackwell, who
I
just
remember
woke up from a coma.
Stewart. I know he did, but I remember Stuart Little calling in here one day like, "Oh, Black, whatever his name is, he's good." And then he fought Eubank, and look at what happened. You know what I mean?
Well, Eubank's also a legit world level, top level athlete, top level boxer.
The only world level guy I know that hasn't fought on the world level.
He fought Billy Joe Saunders,
and
that's more than Courtesy has done.
Was that world level at the time? Are you serious, or was that a domestic fight? I mean, what are we calling world level?
Billy Joe Saunders proved that was a world level fight by beating Andy Lee.
No, what Billy Joe went on to do only shows how good he was. But at the time, it was a domestic level fight. And besides that, so his claim to fame is losing to Billy Joe now, is what you're telling me. He's world class because he lost to Billy Joe.
And he beat Nick Blackwell. You think that these guys that are domestic on that level are bad, but there are guys that are domestic on the Mexican scene or the U.S. scene, that top level guys that we see all the time and top level prospects beat.
Not about US.
And we give them credit for those wins, right?
not about U.S. If anything, it's about U.S. viewing television because our fighters come from every different country. We have a lot of immigrants here. You know, Leo is Mexican, Abner is Mexican. Like, it's so many people. Like, look at all the Russians in Eastern. Andre Rozier, he was just on the show a few days ago. He trains Sergey Derevchenko. He trains Ivan Hetrov. You know, he trains another Eastern European guy that I can't put my finger on right now. But what I'm saying is these guys are coming from everywhere, living in the U.S. Algieri was like, I don't know, fucking Italian and white, right? Or whatever he was. It's so many. Malignaggi, same thing, Italian. U.S. viewing television has different nationalities, and that's cool. I'm not saying American. People need to get.
I understand not like being like racial or anything like that. No, I'm just saying that the regional scene in the UK is very high level, respective to other regional scenes that we see. Like we give like guys like Inoue in Japan, the guy's going to beat Roman Gonzalez, a ton of credit for beating a lot of guys over there. But the regional scene in Japan, in my opinion, is worse off than the regional scene in the UK. I could be wrong, and people can call in and disagree with us or disagree with you.
It's all right, guys. I'm with you. I don't know who the fuck he was. I don't know if he was sneezing or saying someone's name. Inwa. I mean, I don't know. But I told you, this is why I warned you guys that he is the hipster. Name dropping. Yo, he's name dropping guys that weigh like 95 pounds and shit. Oh, man.
115.
Yeah. Look at that. 115. Well, isn't it? Well, I guess didn't Enrique fight there one day? Once upon a time.
Manny Pacquiao started there.
Well, I don't know. Do you have any other notable mentions that you want to put in before we get to the meat and potatoes of who won in our well, in my eyes, and obviously in your eyes? Everyone has their personal pick, just like we want you to personally pick, but we do want you to stay to our top 5. You can obviously say, look, I got Ndango like Matt, but out of yours, this one. Or we can, I mean, if there's an let's say there's an Ndango that's an overwhelming favorite with the public, we would obviously include that one, you know. But you know, look, one of Matt's made it. He picked Hassam Ndam over Blano, another knockout which I feel doesn't deserve to be there. But I mean, again, the hipsters, you know, they love Ndam for whatever.
Do you want me to go through my top 5?
Sure.
Okay, number 1 is Canelo Alvarez versus Amir Khan. Number 2 is Hassan Nadam versus Alfonso Blanco. Number 3 is Julius Ndongo versus Edar Turnovsky. Number 4 is Vasily Lomachenko versus Rocky Martinez. And number 5 is Deontay Wilder versus Artur Szpilka.
I'm going to just soak that in. Because
that's personal preference. That's not saying like I don't know what my criteria is, but that's just
like I don't understand the guys that are putting Vasil in there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god, that knockout was insane against Rocky Martinez, and he did it on the inside.
The fashion, right? The fashion, since it was an unorthodox combination, I understand that. But for Rocky Martinez, who's been knocked out,
who went to war in a draw with Salido,
who goes to war with everybody. He went to war with Juan Manuel and everybody.
Like, come on, that means something.
Everybody. That's his style. Come on. He went to war. Salido goes to war. What was the freaking dude that he got dropped like 10 times? That was a war. And he's always in a fight of the year because he leaves it in the ring. That's what he does. But it's not for any other reason. Like, let's just be real. Listen, the good doctor is finally in. He was probably, you know, I don't know, doing some surgery on your mom's or something. Let's check him out. Boxing MD, what's going on, brother? I know you want to sit in on this. I thought he said he was ready. What's going on here? Sunshine State. Boxing MD, what's going on?
Is that a fair statement to make? You have to be honest with yourself. I had some technical issues, difficulties, but I'm glad that I didn't enter in that Asian boxing scene conversation, because I'm ignorant of that too. Like me and Ness, I'll admit that I know nothing about the 115-pound guys, but I do. My knockout of the year is on this list, right? So should I go ahead and give it? I don't know how far you guys are into that.
Now, just go ahead and get into your top 5. Matt gave us his, and he had a few hipster picks.
Well, I'm just going to work within the 5 that we have, I guess, top 5. I think you have to put Canelo Khan number 5 because it's not that impressive knocking out Amir Khan, because it just visually looks like a guy who's 20 pounds heavier than another guy sleeping him. It was a pretty shot. I can't put it above any of these other guys, right? Then I got to go Wilder because it was an amazing shot, but it just was Arthur Spielka. Like, I don't know. Just it doesn't do it for me as it's not as sexy. Then I guess Vasyl Lomachenko. It was a good knockout, but I have the other ones higher. Joe Smith projecting Bernard Hopkins out the ring. And I have no problem with that being, how could, if somebody wants to say that's the knockout of the year, how could you argue against that? Bernard Hopkins is the only time ever being knocked out of the fucking ring. And then my knockout of the year, I do have Blanco Endam versus Blanco, because it was an undefeated prospect getting knocked out by a veteran. So it wasn't low level, but the way that he set that shit up, it was perfect. It was a perfect knockout, kind of indicative of, like when I think of knockout of the year, I think of like a Paul Williams type of Sergio Martinez, where it's a beautiful setup shot, style points, and the guy's sleeping. So it had all of those elements. So that's my knockout of the year.
Wait, so you went with Hassan Ndam Blanco?
I did.
Such a disappointment. That's
how is that not the
that's
I think that fight could be knockout of the year easily. Like, you saw this. Like, he iced him with one shot. An undefeated fighter. He iced an undefeated fighter with one shot, and it's Nadam.
And it wasn't even just the fact that his reaction. It was the technical, I guess, perfection in which he set it up with. Like, it wasn't a winging shot, and like that's why I can't put Wilder's at number 1, because it wasn't like as technically set up as these other knockouts. The result's the same, but it has more, I guess, pizzazz or whatever the fuck adjective you want to use. You know what I'm saying? So
glass half empty. You know what I'm saying? Because here these both hipsters go saying that one guy set up the shot better than the other guy, right? But isn't it, again, I repeat, isn't it easier to do things to people that aren't as talented as you? Now, this undefeated fighter that Matt keeps throwing around, he keeps throwing the word, oh, he's undefeated. Oh, he was undefeated. You know what that tells me? Oh, we didn't know, did he have a chin or not, because he ain't been hit. He was never in the ring with nobody. We don't know him because he ain't done shit besides get knocked out by Ndam. That's why. Excuse me, damn. Was anyone ever around here like, oh, you guys better watch out for that Blanco fight? He's gonna give Ndam a hell of a man. This shit went under the radar because it was a no fight. And Ndam, who didn't ever drop no other, and I'm gonna use Matt's word, world class, and only world class because they're on that world level. He didn't drop Peter Quillen, and he didn't drop David Lemieux. So where's this guy's power? But Daniel Jacobs did, and so did Gennady. They did damage to both of those guys. But Hassan Ndam all of a sudden is a knockout puncher because he knocked out somebody you never heard of. Don't be fooled by the hype. I could knock out my garbage man. I keep repeating.
Do you remember Bracero?
Tito Bracero that knocked out the Irish dude over there in Boston?
Yep.
Yeah, another low-level fighter. Not
Okay,
Bracero, but
so
the Irish dude.
I know. So, I mean, listen, what is your definition of knockout of the year? Because that's important, because you're just like hating on like.
It's got to be sexy, but so do the names. Because if you knock out a name.
Ndam's a named fighter. He's not he's not a club fighter.
But not Blanco.
Yeah, he was a prospect. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't have as much.
It doesn't have it. I'm not gonna let you get away with that.
Okay.
Be honest. Have you ever heard of him before last weekend?
I swear to God, I've heard of him. Did you?
Blanco was the favorite.
Wait,
Blanco
hold
was
on,
like a
hold
favorite.
on, Ness. You want to be embarrassed on how much you don't pay attention to the show?
Yeah, go.
I asked, I asked Robert Garcia if he still trained Blanco. You hear that? Do you remember that?
I didn't.
And then he said that he had issues because he, has missed his family and he got homesick. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes, I do remember that.
Okay.
I had no clue it was about Blanco, but there you go. A guy that'd rather go home and fucking chill with his family.
Do you see how quickly the narrative changes when Ness realized that he's not a bum?
What do you mean? I'm not saying he's not a bum. I'm saying that
you think Robert Garcia would take him in if he's a bum?
Listen to me. Robert Garcia let his ass go. You not hearing? He
missed his family. Don't leave. Don't go back to your family. Stay with me. He fucking left. Whatever. That's what it is. It doesn't mean he's a bum, but whatever.
And that's what I'm saying. No world-class fighters going home because they miss their kids. They're gonna stay there and soak in that Robert Garcia tutelage. Michael Perez isn't the best fighter in the world.
You could tell that to Gervonta Davis.
But he's willing to go to Vegas. Remember, he just wants to bring his whole family. That's why he's in this title fight. Everything changes for him now. We got to
and Blanco being an immigrant, not having the backing, he can't bring his whole family. So I'm saying this. You're sounding kind of bad. Discredit. Just don't discredit the knockout. Maybe it's not your knockout of the year, but these aren't two bums.
It's all good. I'm gonna go ahead and give mine so we can open up the phone lines and get the worlds. Matt, what's going on? Oh, you're doing it. I see you. Okay. Yeah. We got the junior producer in the house getting it ready for you guys. We're gonna have your names all ready. I see a couple of the alumni out there already. I see my man Larry from San Francisco. Shout out to Larry. Larry, you would not imagine how well your show is doing on Blog Talk. People were really interested in Fight of the Year. Can't wait to pick our Fighter of the Year. But right now we're talking Knockout of the Year, 2016 Knockout of the Year. So, I'm going to do it the way MD did in order of worst to greatest, right? So worst to my choice, rather. Or last to my choice is the better word, right? Because these are the top 5 best knockouts I believe happened.
You started from the bottom up.
I'll say that, again, based on level of opponent, Hassan N'Dam is number 5. I cannot disagree with my co-hosts and the world. It was a one-punch knockout. It was set up beautifully the way you want all fighters to set up their power punches behind the jab. Give them credit. But who the fuck is Blanco? So then Vasyl Lomachenko, it's like, actually, no. I'm going to go ahead and put Khan next because of the weight discrepancy, right? And it's like.
But Ness, I'm sorry to. Can you really say without trolling us, because you're being a contrarian, that you give Canelo more praise than the Blanco knockout? Do you really?
Yeah.
I do. Get out of here. Get out of here.
I do. Khan has at least been in there with Maidana and been successful. Devin Alexander and been successful. No, he wasn't on the level of a Canelo, especially in weight, and that's why the knockout is number 4, because Canelo put the knockout together so beautifully that it has to be mentioned. Canelo killed Khan for about 30 seconds, and the world stopped. The boxing world.
Same thing with the Blanco one.
No, but that's what I'm telling you. He's not sexy. Who the fuck is Blanco? Stop saying his name. We don't even know that guy. Khan, we know. He has story. I'm invested. I know.
But we know. You could say, what if Blanco comes back and he's okay?
Let him come back and be okay. Let him get another couple of fights too.
But you cannot say that that Blanco has a glass chin and he was fighting a guy who had 20 pounds at least functionally above him. You know what I'm saying? 20 pounds of muscle. And he knocks out guys at 154. So,
listen,
it came. We knew the knockout would come. So how is that surprising?
B-side, okay? A-side trumps Hassan N'Dam, so that bumps him up a little bit. Stop being – I didn't hate on your list. I'll let you say your list. But I like it. My list –
I just smell dishonesty coming from Nestor.
My list is the best list, and that's why you guys have to pick at it. It's all good. Boom. So – after Khan, because Khan is like, fucking Canelo took tack on this dude. He's like 27 pounds heavier than him, but it was beautiful. He killed them for a little while. So next is number 3, and that will be Vasyl Lomachenko and Roman Martinez. Now, I really didn't want to put this so high, but, you know, it was in the same weight class. You know, we know Roman Martinez, but we seen Mikey Garcia do the same thing. But like I told Matt earlier, it was the way that Lomachenko did it. It was an unorthodox combination. I think it was like a right hook, then a straight left. So it was nice, and it deserves to be mentioned. Remember, these are just mentions because my number one is the one that I chose. So then my number two is Deontay Wilder. You know, it was Bomb Squad! Deontay at his best. I know that people don't like the way that he put it together. They call him sloppy and things like that. But out of all these knockouts, someone had to spend the night in the hospital. As you can see in the overlay, that was Spielka. That goes credit to the power of Wilder, and that's why it's mentioned for knockout of the year. But again, because of level of opposition, Spielka isn't Bernard Hopkins, and Joe Smith isn't Deontay Wilder. His nickname isn't the Bronze Bomber, and Kovalev isn't Joe Smith, and he couldn't do what Joe Smith did, and his name is Crusher. So this year, even though the ESPNs of the world want to overlook Joe Smith based on the fact that Hopkins is 51 or whatever. How old is Hopkins really, producer? Like, what's his legit age? Let's not guess.
51.
Is that his legit number?
Yeah, he's not Cuban.
He's not Cuban. He's actually 51.
I mean, are you guys looking at it, or are you guessing based off what you know? Because we can be wrong.
Some people have knowledge.
No, he's 51.
Underneath the, you know, when you guys have to protect your knowledge, I don't have to wear a hat. The knowledge is.
I'm trying to make, MD, is that 51 or not, he was 50 last year and Kovalev couldn't do it, right? Or 49.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's never been knocked out. And okay, they're gonna say, well, Ness, he's 51. He needs a walker. You know, he was only on furlough from the community. Old folks home. What the fuck is that? That must be me with a
Mountain rule number 6. Use of any snooze button is highly discouraged on a powder day.
Fucking Blog Talk, not Blog Talk, but BoxRec with their ads, video ads. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, yeah, maybe Bernard uses a walker in some people's opinion, but he's never been stopped, let alone launched. I mean, we seen Gennady Golovkin almost go to the moon, Alice, but Joe Smith really propelled Hopkins out of the ring. The knockout was so bad. Bernard thought he was pushed. He thought he was cheated. You know, he hit his head on the floor. He said his ankle was hurt. It was, you couldn't ask for anything more. It was everything.
Those reactions, I think all those reactions come from not Bernard Hopkins being knocked out so badly, which he was, but the executing excuses, right? I think those are kind of like more thought out, but everything else you're saying, we always say that we have to send, the old fighters, people need to send them into retirement. And he sent them like to the retirement home with that one.
And that's exactly why. Yeah. That's my motto, though, MD. You said it. I'm glad you brought it up. I always say that. Send these old guys in and retire. Joe Smith did it. So why wouldn't I, out of all of us, at least be the one to give Joe Smith fighter knockout of the year? And I will. And be careful. We haven't decided whether or not we're going to do a upset of the year show. But he might be runner-up for that as well. So, Matt, are you asking because you're tallying?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, perfect. So what we'll do is...
Yeah, and I think for me, Callum Smith, I forgot who exactly it was, but he had 2 amazing knockouts that were definitely honorable mentions for me.
Yeah, you know why you forgot them? Because you don't know who they were. That's exactly what I was arguing with fucking Matt about. You guys just...
Not a long day.
You guys want to be politically correct for the people that are, pulling the strings on you in the chat and on your social media, like, OMD, how could you not mention Callum Smith? Who the fuck did he knock out? Nobody.
I picked Canelo Alvarez over Amir Khan. I obviously do not care about what people think.
Matt,
Would you say you picked Canelo Alvarez over Amir Khan?
Yeah, that's my number one.
Oh.
all right. So
yeah.
let's get out to these phone
Wait, your number one is Canelo Khan?
Who, mine's?
No, mine. Yeah.
And he's the hipster.
That's the least. You act like, oh my.
I don't act like a hipster.
No.
Call me
You use
hipster.
like,
Did I ever call myself a hipster?
you use like analytics and all these like fancy techniques to describe some things, whatever, how you analyze boxing.
But no, that one was just
Bottom line
beautiful.
is a dude who had a glass chin got knocked out by a guy who knocks out guys at 154 that had 20 functional pounds above him.
It was too beautiful.
It was beautiful. You can't deny
it. Was.
Listen,
like that. I don't have any like criteria for this.
Let's not sleep.
Well, I mean, Adonis Stevenson beautifully knocked out a stripper, right? We don't care about that, right?
Let's not.
Was that Adonis Stevenson or was that Quillen?
Let's not fall asleep.
Quillen.
It was Quillen.
It was Quillen.
Safara was his name, I believe. We're going out to these callers.
Not that G-string.
These calls are brought to you by our sponsor, El Camino Electrical Services, who have over 15 years of commercial electrical experience, servicing the whole Silicon Valley and the entire San Francisco Peninsula. Visit us at our website, elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
All right. We're going to get to our first caller. Is going to be our boomerang caller. Come on, don't drop the ball, compa.
He's too high. Like, come on, compa.
951. Maybe I'm wrong. That's why Matt is here, but he didn't put the right name. 951.
He's at church service right now.
Yeah, I guess.
High on spirits.
951. Going once. Going twice. You're gonna be crying later. Oh, I think he said something. Yo.
Hello.
Yes, who's this? 951.
Hey, what's up, guys? I don't know you guys are this is John from California.
John from California. Take that down.
Hello.
All right. So what's going on, brother? We're talking
Hey, what's up, guys?
2016 KO of the year.
Well, I think all those KOs you guys mentioned were great. They were, I'm a big hardcore fan, and all those knockouts were great. And it's, to each his own opinion, as a fan. But I got to go with number 5. I got to go with Joe Smith over Hopkins. I mean, regardless, Hopkins is a legend. We all know he's a legend, but I mean, the guy was closer to 52 than 51, and I mean, it was due. It happens to all the greats that hang around too much, and it was his time. And Joe Smith's a good puncher. Remember, he knocked out from Farah. I like Joe Smith. He's a good puncher. He's a good action fighter for the fans. I'd say it's number 5. You guys are still with me?
We're still with you.
Okay. Number 4, I like Nandam. Hassan Nandam against Blanco. I mean, it was a great knockout. Great one-punch knockout. And number 3, I got to go with Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder and Spitzka, whatever his name is.
Spielka.
Spitzka. That was a great knockout. Yeah, he laid him out pretty good. Number 2, I got to go with Lomachenko. He's won Knockout of the Year on many publications on HBO. I got to go, even though Rocky, I know he's been in a lot of wars, but I mean, it was still a great knockout. We're talking about great knockouts. You can't, just dissect, every fight or every fighter and say, well, this guy was this guy was lighter, this guy. I mean, we're talking about knockouts, just, as a fan favorite. And I got to go with Canelo Khan, number 1. I mean, it was on a pay-per-view show. A lot of these fights that are on pay-per-views or on the big stage, I mean, they just stand out more. In my opinion, I don't know what you guys think, but in my opinion, pay-per-view knockouts and on the big stage, I mean, more fans see it. And it was a spectacular knockout, regardless. And you got to remember, Khan.
Yeah, but that's only if you're into paying for public executions and giving it praise, right? We all knew it was a dead man walking.
Hey, don't cut off the caller, MD. Let him go. Let him burn.
Yeah. Well,
he's trying to add some energy in this, right?
Oh, it was going to be a mismatch. But remember, I mean, a lot of people, a lot of fans. Paulie Malignaggi had kind of head going into the 6th round. So regardless,
Yeah, but Paulie fucking dick rides boxers, and you know that. He doesn't respect when Canelo sets up bigger, devastating body shots, which he was doing. Khan won what, like 2 rounds? Like it was, you know.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, I had Canelo personally. I had Canelo ahead because he was boxing pretty good. People don't notice that about him. That he has good reflexes. He has good head movement, and he's pretty quick for a big dude like that. And he was landing the body, and he was landing the jab. I had him ahead. I'm not saying a lot of people had Khan ahead. I didn't. I had Canelo ahead. I thought he was boxing, you know, pretty good. He's a much better boxer. He's just not a bomber like everybody says.
John from Cali, thanks for calling in. But you are right. A lot of people were calling in saying that Khan was winning that Canelo fight, or that he was up on the cards before the knockout. Absolutely right about that.
A lot of people also picked him, right? So there's delusion happens on both ends. In the front end by choosing it, and the back end by seeing what you want to see. Those are facts.
John, thank you for calling in, my friend. We are going to get to some other callers. We give everyone 1 round in here, so you got to box well in your 1 round. We're looking for Mike Tyson type callers. We're going to Larry from San Francisco. Talk to me, Larry.
Hey, Ness, do me a favor. Come back to me.
No problema. And I went to you sooner, but I thought the opposite from the message I received. We're going to Amin. Talk to me.
Yo, let me ask one question. Is the Charlo J-Rock fight not eligible because
Absolutely.
It was a TKO as a versus KO?
No, you could put it in there. You could put it in there, but are you going to get enough people to vote on that?
I don't know, but I'm going to say, to me, that's number one. I'll start from top to bottom because it was 2 undefeated fighters, a fight we've been waiting on, and their primes. It was to me, Charlo, in the eyes of a lot of, fans, Charlo seemed like an underdog because people didn't like him, whatever. And the way he knocked J-Rock out, who's a very credible opponent, the way he knocked him out, 2 undefeated fighters in a title defense, no less. To me, that was it right there. Beyond, after that, number 2, I got Spielka Wilder again. From Tuscaloosa,
hey,
Alabama,
FYI,
Bronx Bomber sent homeboy to.
FYI, Deontay Wilder was a title defense. Lomachenko was a title defense. And so was Joe Smith a title defense.
Well, Joe Smith a title defense.
So was Canelo Alvarez. Remember, Amir Khan was fighting for that middleweight belt.
Yeah. I mean, in all those fights again will get mentioned because at number 2, I got Wilder Spielka. 3, I have Canelo Khan. 4, I got Lomo versus Rocky Martinez. And 5, I got the Endom knockout just because I was like, again, I think somebody said it earlier, an undefeated fighter versus a vet. He set up the punch good, but it was like, that's what happens when, you're inexperienced and you go in against somebody that just, they know boxing. He wouldn't have to watch no tape on that kid the way he said, oh, this kid's doing this, boom, hit him. And it was great. I mean, it was amazing, but, I got mine ranked the way I got it. I'm throwing that J-Rock and Charlo up there, though, and just see how many people agree.
All
and
right,
it's interesting.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, and it's interesting how people define a knockout of the year. Like for me, like just how I see it, you kind of have to be sleeping after that. So I would TKOs don't really they don't qualify in my book. But everybody has their own definition.
I agree with you, MD.
Good point. Listen, oh man, he said something there that I wanted to mention. I'll forget it. I'm gonna have to go to another call. It's 1614. You're
He
live.
starts from the top down. I know that got your attention. That's how he views knockout of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said that was important, right? In other words, like he starts from opposite how maybe I start from. He goes, what's the biggest fight that had a knockout? And then he just goes down from there.
All right. 614 got scared. All right. So we'll go to Suleiman.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What's up?
Yeah, I'm gonna go from 5-1. Okay. I think that fight right there with Jesse Vargas knocking out this guy. What's his name? Saddam Ali, who was undefeated. It was the title was up for grabs. That's number 5 for me, because everybody was talking about him. He was the underdog. He came in and he put the combos and knocked him out. And then number 4, Arthur Spilka against Deontay Wilder. I mean, it came out of nowhere, that shot, and he knocked him out also. Spilka was throwing a shot at the same time. Number 3, that Jamel Charlo. It's true, that fight, it was exciting. 2 undefeated fighters, and when he put him out with that uppercut, that combination punch was nice.
But he didn't put him out though.
Yeah, he did knock him out though. He knocked him out. He finished him. The guy was done.
But remember, he got up. He got up from that nice punch. Everyone is giving credit. He got up.
Yeah, but the technique, that he was done. It was over. That fight, that was a knock. To me, that was a knockout. The guy was done. He was defeated, and he put an undefeated fighter, and he beat him. And also don't forget also what Jesse Vargas did to Saddam Ali. Then the way Anthony Joshua pulled out this guy, number 2, the way Anthony Joshua pulled out this guy, what's his name, the Molina guy, he used technique. It was a title defense, and he pulled him out beautifully. I mean, the guy was shook, power shots, everything. The guy wasn't doing nothing back. He only threw one right hand in the whole fight, and it was over. Then number 1, I give it the Lomachenko fight, because Rocky Martinez, I mean, he was game. I mean, you can't forget that Rocky Martinez is a game fighter. He has technique. He's proven it before, but this guy's technique is unreal. You know, he's very defensive. He uses an unorthodox southpaw style that's very fundamental. I mean, he looks like he's hitting the double and back all day long, like Manny Pacquiao used to do when he was young.
Suleiman, you love the double end bag, baby.
Yeah, if you hit the double end bag and you try it, you're gonna love it, Bob. You're gonna love the double end bag, because you throw combination. Your speed is there. You got rhythm in your style. It's perfect. Everything is in there. So you guys should try it out, man.
I'm gonna ask Danny Garcia, yo, because Danny Garcia was doing it the last time I'm like, yo, how important is the double?
Suleiman, how's your hand speed? Decent? You train with it?
You don't miss no shots either. You see all those fighters that are missing shots is because they don't hit the double end bag. They don't hit the double end bag. That's why they miss a lot of shots. When you hit the double end bag, you got accuracy in your punches. You guys have
that makes sense, man. That makes sense for real. Now that was the first time he said the double end bag comment and actually backed it up with something that sounds intelligent.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is a good.
The way that the double end bag moves, it isn't in a straight line. You do have to go after it. So, yeah, it could improve the accuracy. I like that, Suleiman. You're going to get a coin on the way out. You're such a great caller, my friend.
He is the scholar, right?
He is the scholar, man.
So he's, you know, he's like sitting at the top of the mountain hill, you know, telling us what a double end bag does, right?
But you see, you know, I'm not going to argue with every caller, but, you know, and I remember what I wanted to say, and I'll say that first. I'm wondering now if putting the fighters, the nominations in people's eyes, right? Allowing them to hear our top 5, is that subjecting them to choose from that 5? Because very few are saying, like, you know, Jamel or someone that we don't have on the list, or are these the sexiest 5 knockouts of the year? Just something I was.
Well, if you leave it wide open, you're gonna have people bring up the
Japanese fights.
Yeah.
The Shinaki Nawakos. Yeah. Help me out. Yo, you know that when you wasn't here, fucking Matt. Yo, you can't leave me alone with Matt. You know, when you wasn't here, he dropped some dude named Uwa. I didn't know if he was fucking like reading a name or about to kick an African vibe.
Inoue. It's Inoue, the guy that's going to fight Roman Gonzalez.
You see, and everyone pronounces it differently. I've heard people call in and say Inoue, right?
Inoue. It's multiple pronunciations.
These hipsters, I'm telling you, they even know. I'm going to have to get Jeffrey to pronounce it for us because he never fails. Let me go to Too Tough.
It's like someone who doesn't speak the language. Like when you refer to a country like Iran, and you don't speak Arabic and you go Iran. You know what I mean? So it's like, is that what you're doing, Matt? He's being so hipster, he can't even say anyway like the American version. That's real hipster.
Well, when he said it, I thought he sneezed. He was like, "No, what about who?" I'm like, "What? Bless you." But
Because he's always saying it in the tone. He's like, "Yo, like it's an elitist, like snobby, like, you know," because he knows you're not going to know who he is. So
no, he knew I didn't know. I was like, "Yo, I had to stop the show and like, apologize to the listeners and shit." Too tough. Talk to me, brother.
All right, check it out. Listen, I'm gonna give an honorable mention. I'm gonna give an honorable mention to Joe Smith over B-Hop. I originally had him on the top 5, but I had to take him off because I was thinking about it. And Dongle over Trojanowski at number 5 because he did it in Trojanowski's backyard. That crowd was stunned when after the knockout. The people when they panned the audience and the shots, seen the crowd like, oh my God, I can't believe my guy lost. So I'm gonna give him number 5. I'm gonna put Top Dog, Adonis over Top Dog at number 4. And I'm gonna put Canelo over Khan. And then I got Dom over Blanco. That was for a WBA interim championship, if you know it or not. And that fight is supposed to be the mandatory for the Jacobs Golovkin winner. Anyway, and then my top.
Yo, I don't know if you know, but Ndam's been there before. He's been the WBA interim mandatory to Gennady.
Yo, plus, listen. The dude he fought, Blanco, was the champion, the interim champion. And Dom, I think he threw 2 punches and knocked him out.
Yo,
and
fam,
guy's leg twitching.
Joe Smith Jr.
So,
is the interim champion of the WBC.
Yo, listen, I got that.
There's an interim champion in every fucking division. It don't mean nothing to me. I'm telling you. Especially not the WBAs. They got 3 versions of champions in every division.
Yeah, and my top one is Wilder over Spilker, because like you said, Ness, like that's the only one where the dude had to go to the hospital afterwards. So that's the reason why his is the knockout, because he actually had to get medical attention after it. So and
good
that's
point.
my top 5. Hit some thumbs up, people.
yeah, PBC knows how to make production value, right?
The hate is real with this one, my friends. The hate is real, but we will use the force to avoid them. Hit the thumbs up.
Do not factor
on YouTube. Very important. Like I always repeat, it helps with the visibility of the show. And if you're enjoying the content, you should be allowing us to notice that by those thumbs up equating the amount of listens.
Do you not factor in that it took him 9 rounds? I mean, does that matter to you? Like just a general, like I'm not just saying
fashion of the knockout, my friend. Fashion of the knockout.
So
what happened to that man?
If it happened in the first round or it happened in the 12th
yet. He hasn't fought yet. Remember?
If it happens in the first round or it happens in the 12th round, does it make a difference for you?
Yo, he got knocked out by Spielka and became the #1 Polish. I mean, he got knocked out by Wilder and became.
You said he's never been knocked out? Is that what you said?
No, I said he hasn't fought since then.
But he's been
310. You're up.
But he's been knocked out. And that's based on your logic. He's been knocked out. But okay, against a non-puncher.
All right, I'm gonna take a shot in the dark because Matt is not doing. This is his first day. I hope I'm right.
This portion of the show we call In the Know, presented by my brother.
Guess not.
Yo,
Matt.
yo.
Oh, all right. Info Joe, what up?
What's up, Boxing Voice family? Hit those thumbs up. Become a Patreon. You're listening to the #1 podcast in the globe and around the world. What's up? What's up, Ness? What up, MD? What up, Matt? Show them some of that West Coast flavor you got in there, man.
What up, Info? How you doing, brother?
All right. Chill. I'm gonna start from the top. #1, the most clean one-punch knockout goes to Wilder, knocking Spilker cold out with 1 punch, put that man to sleep. #2, the most brutal knockout goes to Joe Smith, knocking out B-Hop out of the ring. The most beautiful knockout goes to Charlo, knocking out J-Rock with that beautiful, and I must say beautiful. Was that a pull counter uppercut? And number four goes to Loma versus Rocky Martinez, and number 5 goes to Ndam Blanco.
Fantastic, brothers.
All right, Info
Hey,
Joe.
man, I appreciate all the shows, Ness. You're doing a great job, my brother. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm just glad you guys are appreciating. I don't want you guys to start saying it's too many, right? I'm just trying to report on everything. We had a dream of TBV in the morning, and so far it's the afternoon, but eventually we'll get there. I'm gonna get to. Let me give Matt a couple of minutes because I don't know. Matt, did you record that last bit of information on Info Joe? I know you could get that anyway, so I'm gonna go to the next. We got 219. You're up on TBV. Who's this?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm Walter from Indiana.
Walter, Indiana, talk to me.
All the knockouts you have they're awesome, man. All these knockouts, but I'm just gonna give you my favorite. I don't really have a top 5, but I like Canelo Khan because Canelo just slept him, man. It was beautiful. And my second one, honorable mention. That was my knockout of the year. The honorable mention has to be his sparring partner, Speedy Rashid Ellis. Lightning quick. He knocked out Eddie Gomez in the first round on HBO Latino.
I watched that.
Look out for him, man.
I watched that. Yo, I felt bad for Eddie because we know Eddie, man. You know, he's from Brooklyn. He's Honduran. We've interviewed him a bunch. Yo, and yeah, man, he iced him. But you know what the thing is? Eddie is small. He's so small. Yo, I remember he was fighting at 154 at one time. He's a short guy, but that was a nice knockout. Good call on that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Probably the fastest junior middleweight right now, in my opinion. Ellis. He's quick, man.
All right,
that's my call, man. Shout out to you guys.
All right, Walter. Well, listen, man, thank you. You said Walter from what? Indiana?
Yeah.
Indiana. All right, brother. Thanks for calling in. Matt,
was Rashidi Ellis his number 1? Sorry.
Was it number 1? Let's see.
That was like an honorable mention, he said.
Walt,
No, it was the number 1.
What was your number 1 again, Walt, to be clear?
Canelo Khan.
Oh, okay.
Damn, you see? And that's what I'm telling you about sexy names. And I guess that adds to my casualness, right? I get, pegged so much for being the casual out the group. And I guess that's what it is. We need names that we know, so it matters. Like, I don't care about Blanco.
Well, do you care about, so does this fit at least your, I guess, level of skill or level of notoriety that it's okay for an honorable mention in Tony Bellew versus Makabu? Because I think that was another one that, we could have put on this list easily.
That's an honorable mention, easily.
That's an honorable mention, and because hipsters exist, they'll say, yeah, Makabu, he was blah, 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 but on the real, Makabu, he had that one fight that we know versus Minshew. I think that's basically it.
Who's Arthur Spielka beat?
Arthur Spielka.
Who's he beat?
Nobody that matters.
Yeah.
Nobody. I think his claim to fame was losing to Brian Jennings.
Okay.
He was
getting dominated that fight too.
He actually beat a few people on ESPN.
I think I saw him lose in a fight. Maybe it was in Atlantic City, but he won. I don't know. So I think you're really, based on what you're describing, you're trying to discredit the other opponent. Like, people could easily discredit,
discredit what?
Wilder's knockout.
But that they would be within, I guess, reason, but I didn't.
Yes, this is literally your logic. You go, what the fuck is he known for? Going 12 and getting his ass whooped against his ass whooped against Jennings?
I didn't pick Wilder. But that's the only thing that you could come at me for. It's like back in the day when people used to think that I was in love with Danny. That's all that they would say. You're insane. You're obsessed. I didn't pick Wilder.
Matt, did he not pick Wilder?
No,
he picked Joe Smith Jr.
So, but you had Wilder as number 2.
And
that's not
number 1. The bottom of it, like based on your logic, it should be the bottom of the list.
There could only be one knockout of the year, so it doesn't matter. And I was specific about that.
So why would it even be on this list based on your criteria, though?
Because those are candidates, right? Those are my honorable mentions. Those 4, and then my number 1.
I'm just,
I know you're just looking for something to say. And
I'm just pointing out bias. Like,
you're not creative enough.
You big up opponents.
You're not creative enough.
You big up opponents to make fighters look better than they are sometimes.
But I didn't big up Spielka, and that's the problem. You are the only one trying to I guess discount what he has done or hasn't done because you want to somehow make Wilder look bad. But I picked Joe Smith Jr., so, it's really up to you. Let me get to my boomerang caller, Bruce. What up?
What up, Ness?
What's going on?
I got a couple that we haven't talked about yet. I'll start at number 5. I got Jermell Charlo when he knocked out Julian Jackson's son. I forget his name. Is it John Jackson?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. Number 4, I have Joe Smith, but not B-Hop. I got him knocking out Paul Farah. I thought that was a lot better than knocking out B-Hop, and I give him a lot more credit for that. Number 3, Lomachenko. Number 2, this is another one I don't think anybody mentioned. Alexander Gavoidic, when he knocked out Muhammadi. That was a death. And
wait a minute. Come on, man. Come on. I mean, Muhammadi's been knocked out 2 times already.
So is Canelo. I mean,
and it was back to back. Like,
did you hear how I just described Arthur Spielka? Why do you have to just immediately it was a good knockout? So I don't know.
He was just knocked out by Kovalev.
Khan's been knocked out 2 times against smaller.
I'm gonna look him up because I could have sworn he was knocked out by Kovalev. Then right after that, he was.
You don't have to, Ness. You don't have to discredit these fights you don't know. It sounds bad, man. It sounds really bad. That's all I got to say about that. That was a beautiful knockout. I didn't watch that whole fight, but I watched the knockout, and I'm like, yeah, it's a good knockout. So, and you know what? I'm glad these callers bring up these knockouts because you guys should look some of these up because I haven't seen all of these. So,
Muhammadi's lost 4 times, all by knockout.
Make it good.
Yo, Sergey, he got knocked out.
Not saying he's. When did we ever say he's good, Ness? What are you fucking?
My point is, how does the knockout merit so much if you're always getting knocked out? That's why we didn't give Khan number 1 spot with Canelo because we know he's getting knocked out, right?
But the callers are giving him number 1 spot.
You didn't know Arthur Spielka was going to get knocked out, you know what I'm saying? And again, you didn't put it number 1, but you did. You had the audacity, and I think it's funny. So I'm not hitting on you for that. The picture of him in the hospital because I know what you're doing. But you kind of bigged that one up, yet.
What do you mean you know what I'm doing? I'm showing that it's the only knockout of the year that the other guy woke up in the hospital.
His wife's there holding him,
Yo, you're horrible.
Yeah, she's lamenting. Come on, man. It's like the scene.
Yo, why are you robbing Bruce's
How many times Rocky Martinez been knocked out?
Exactly, and I said that.
Rocky Martinez been knocked out.
I said that, Bruce. I'm with you. I said
that.
that.
On your list, though.
Yo, how many times Alfonso Blanco been knocked out?
Bruce, it's a
0.
Yeah, Alfonso, he ain't never been knocked out because he ain't fighting nobody. I'm actually gonna. What I'm gonna do? Because I'm not gonna let these hipsters lie to us anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and box rec and then check out Blanco's record. Let's see who the fuck Blanco is.
I'm already doing that.
Yeah, you should have been done that. Let's see who Blanco is. These guys, man.
Why did I know? Ness, you know me. I'm not really a fucking hipster. You joke like that. Why do I know who he is?
Yo, look how skinny this kid is, man. Get out of here.
Ness, why do I know who he is?
Food in Venezuela, baby.
Can you tell me why do I know who he is?
I don't know why you know who he is.
Did I just make him up out of the top? People know fighters. I'm not just pulling this out. I'm not a fucking hipster.
You know him, all right. I mean, who'd he fight? That brought your attention to him? Let me know.
He passed the eye test. I don't know what to tell you.
You're lying.
Who are we talking about specifically?
You picked Saddam Ali to beat Jesse Vargas. Why else? You use the eye test when it comes.
Look at me. You're lying, and you know it. This kid.
I didn't know who he is.
You didn't know who he is. You're lying. I'm right now. I don't believe you. I'm sorry. I don't believe you.
You want to make a bet? Let's make a bet. Let's make a bet.
Who's
what do you want to bet? What do you want to bet? No, what do you want to bet on the air? Don't call me a liar. Let's make a bet.
Where you
How can you prove this?
Where'd you see him fight at, man?
I've seen him before.
Yo, this dude.
Why else did I bring him up on the show? And I knew that Robert Garcia trained him.
Yo, outside of the Endam fight, which was in France, he fought his last four have been.
No, the Endam fight wasn't even in France. It was on an island that was owned by France. Listen, Ness, I know things. I mean, so again, Alfonso Blanco was a good prospect. He obviously stepped up.
Yeah,
he stepped up. And he lost to Endam, but like, listen, he's the first guy to knock him out. So I don't know what
Yeah, you know why? Because 4 fights ago, he was fighting somebody that had 0 wins and 6 losses. Man, stop, man. Why you know
he had to pad that record, and then he got a fight and he got knocked out. But again,
I'm saying it. I would have knocked that dude out. I would have knocked him out straight.
I don't know. You couldn't even land a punch on Sean Porter.
Yes,
so.
come on, man.
I didn't want to land on punch on Sean Porter because I didn't want to ruin the relationship, and that shit's still ruined. So whatever.
Ness, I'd bet my entire savings the fact that Blanco would knock you out in under 30 seconds.
You know what's funny, MD? I guarantee.
No, he's a good fucking Ness. One second. He's a good fucking pro prospect in boxing who's boxing his whole life, Ness. Stop it.
Yo, I've never listen. I'm telling you, I've been doing this a long time. I'm telling you, I've been doing this a long time. You know, people have called me the box rec king, and I cannot recall another fighter. I can't recall another fighter who has faced this many fighters with 0 wins on his resume. I mean, you got the shovel and you won't let it go. On box rec, he's fought over 4 or 5 people with 0 wins. Okay. He is no one, and you guys are lying because you want to be hipsters, but it's okay. Be the guy that didn't know the guy, or be the guy that knew the guy that got knocked out by Endam. Go ahead. Whatever. You liars. I don't believe you. Look.
There's a reason he was in our top 15 rankings at middleweight.
1, 2, 3. This is insane. And the third one was 4 fights ago. But look, 6 fights ago, right? He fought someone who was 3-0-1. And then 8 fights ago, 3-0-0. And then 11 fights ago, 1-4-0. Man, I'm wasting time on it.
Hey, hold on, Ness. Who was Wilder fighting at 15-0?
Man, I know it wasn't nobody with 0-0.
Oh, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Come on, man.
Pull it the fuck up. Let's see who's got more zeros. Stop, man. You let the shovel go so we can continue. Bruce, go ahead, Bruce. These guys want to. We need the Jay-Z Dig a Hole song right now for these guys.
Yeah. Oh man.
Actually, Bruce is gonna like this. Ness, I'm gonna read Deontay Wilder's first 10 fights. Records, right?
No. Make sure, don't waste our time because this is not supposed to be a 3-hour show. Make sure you're reading people who have no fucking wins when he faced them, like this man who we are debating. No wins. I'm talking about a 0 in the win column at the time of the fucking fight. Stop lying.
He's fought 1, 2, 3, 4 guys with 1 win.
It's not 0 though. It's not. It's not. You're pulling at strings.
Yeah, I don't know why you're focusing on. Have you seen him box? But did he go to Oxnard, California?
What was that old school hip hop dude that right there after that laugh he would have been like?
I'm not arguing that he's good, Ness. But again, you're saying that you would not. Wait, you would knock him out, Ness? Would you knock him out?
Yo, MD, can we please move on? I've said that like 100 times. Let's just move on. We're talking about a dude that no one's ever heard of besides you and Matt. You see the crickets?
And Robert Garcia.
Bruce, I keep telling you, this is a culmination list of everyone. You know what I'm saying? I can't. What can I do? I'm not a dictator. I don't fucking want to have that dude up there.
That was your top 5. That was your top 5.
Because it's ours. It's up here. This is the one that we want the callers to address, right? These are the overwhelming favorites. As you can see, there are people calling in, fucking picking Hassam's knockout. It's not, and that's why I even questioned. I said after a few callers, I was like, damn, I wonder if we did the wrong thing by giving them the names, right? Maybe they would have, like you, came out with your own 5, right? So I don't know how popular Ndam is, but I know that my hipster co-hosts wanted him there, so there he is.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you were doing it like that. My fault. I just did my own like.
I don't really know that. Essentially, Ness put the ownage on someone else for it being there. That's what's summary.
Bruce, what's your number one, man?
And
Bruce,
Ndam's resume is what? Like he's known for getting beat up. Really,
Wilder.
Your number one's Wilder, Bruce.
Matt, it's Wilder.
Why, man? Like, come on.
Bruce, let me get to some other callers. I'll be right back. You know you boomerang. I'll be back. Let me get to Fernando Pimentel. What's going on?
Oh, man, I got a list for you guys that's going to throw a couple of monkey wrenches in there that you guys have not or anybody has said anything. So before I get to those, let me get to the ones we have spoken about. J-Rock versus Charlo. Amazing. They're live. Awesome. Another one that I was there live for, Smith versus Hopkins. Great. Awesome. And obviously Wilder versus Stilka. Now let me throw two of them up there that you guys or nobody has mentioned for knockouts of the year. Thomas Top Dog Williams versus Edwin Rodriguez. And my number one is
wait, before you go number one, Ness, what's your reaction to that one?
Well, I know you're not trying to see if I think they're not on a certain type of tier, because obviously, Edwin Rodriguez has been in the ring and gotten some decent wins on his way. Oh, he doesn't?
All right. Can I get to my number one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I get to my number one?
Go ahead.
My number one is the knockout that over 6 million people saw the moment it happened. Earl Spence versus Leonard Bundu.
And that was like a beatdown. It wasn't a knockout.
It was a destructive knockout.
Like a submission.
No, it was a knockout. He knocked him out. He knocked him out cold. It was done. Bundu was out on the floor right in that corner. It's over. It's like saying Fonfora as well when he got beat down by Joe Smith Jr. The knockdown that was good was the one off the ropes, not the one in the corner. But that's how the fight ended.
It didn't have the style points for me. Like,
it wasn't sexy for me.
Yeah,
it needs to be sexy.
It was brutal, but it wasn't sexy and brutal.
Sexy and brutal would be Top Dog and Edwin Rodriguez. That was sexy and brutal all at the same time.
Which we're gonna get into as soon as we live.
I agree with that actually. Yeah, that was a great knockout.
Yeah, but I do like Spence versus Bundu. That was probably the best one. It was the most watched of the year, honestly.
Wow, I didn't like that.
Bundu
was looking. Bundu looked older in that fight. He looked older than B-Hop, or just as old as B-Hop. Yo, we haven't.
And mind you, Spence did something that Thurman wasn't able to do, and that's actually finish Bundu off.
Yeah, but his shoes in the promotion for the fight were even older than him. You remember that? Crickets?
Say that again?
They had a promotion, like they were like taking a picture, Earl Spence, dressed up, and Leonard Bundu. And Leonard Bundu's shoes were like, it looked like they were donated from like.
Yeah. I remember New Balances.
Fought in front of 6 million people and they couldn't.
I remember those shoes.
I know Ness would remember it, just.
Yeah. So Pimentel, man, thanks for calling in. Let me, man, we're so disrespectful to our producer.
There'll be nothing but smooth sailing.
Yo, what up, Steve?
Hello, what's up, everybody? What are we talking? I'm coming into the show late, so I heard part of your guys' last argument. I was gonna jump in, but I don't know, jumping in on like an argument that's
Give us your top 5.
We want your top 5 under 150 pounds, 115 pounds and under. Go.
I don't know any 115-pound fights that have ended in a knockout this year. Wait, who did Estrada knock out? I know Estrada knocked out somebody this year.
What about Tanaka? Jose Tanaka.
Who?
7-0, knocked out Moises Fuentes.
Who's the one with the body shot?
Wait,
that he stared over him. Is that one?
Wait, who?
No,
wait, didn't somebody
so,
recently knock out Anselmo Moreno?
What?
Oh.
Who recently beat Anselmo Moreno?
Yeah, but was it by knockout? I remember
It
watching.
wasn't by knockout though.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, I thought it was.
A strong blow, a strong wind.
So, Steven, what is your top 5? Number 1 being your 2016 KO of the year.
I think number 1 for me, I don't know. It's kind of hard to think about the year. Okay, Spielka. Oh no, Spielka versus Deontay Wilder. That's got to be number 3 for me.
3. Okay, so he's going all over the place.
Oh, yeah, he went down like a sack of potatoes, didn't he? Like he went down pretty drastic. I remember that.
I'm just saying you forgot 5 and 4, but okay.
I can't think of a 5 and 4 off the top of my head. But I can think of 3 down, easy. Okay. All right. I see that you guys have Hassan and Dom up there. I think I see why Ness is trying to combat that, but I definitely see why that's up there, man. That's really recent. It's really fresh. And Dom coming off of like losing in the Olympics, I think I'm having a big win, a big knockout. That's a major knockout. But I think my number 2 has got to be, I'm going to go Joe Smith knocks out Bernard Hopkins, because that deserves a lot of credit, because Joe Smith not only was a huge underdog in that fight, but no one has ever stopped Hopkins, certainly in that way. You could argue Chad Dawson did it, but that fight was ruled and overturned. So I'm going to go ahead and say somebody put a exclamation point on the Bernard Hopkins, on the executioner's career. When you X out the executioner, you deserve extra attention. And I definitely think that fight warranted. And that was actually pretty fun. It wasn't fun to watch, but he showed enough dominance, I think Smith did, to prove that he's actually a legitimate fighter. You can argue it was against an old B-Hop, but whatever. And then my number 1, I don't even know, dude. I don't like any of the other top 5 that we have. I got to get back at you with a number 1.
All right, let me go out.
Well, I mean, we could just shift your picks up one more, so that makes sense, right?
Let me go out to Big K from the UK.
Hello.
Hello.
What's going on?
What up, Big K?
What's up, man? Big up the show, man. You've been putting on a lot of good shows recently.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, it's quite late over here, so I'm just going to go straight into my list. At number 5, I got Joshua vs Charles Martin. Number 4, I got Charlo vs J-Rock. Number 3, I got Joe Smith vs B-Hop. Number 2, Khan vs Canelo. And number 1, I got Bellew vs Makabu. And the Bellew one, I'll tell you why it's my number 1 as well. Because he got knocked down in the first round, then he jumped up, and in the 3rd round, he knocked him down, knocked him out cold.
That's a great. I mean, I have no problem with someone picking that as a knockout of the year.
I mean, it was an exciting fight. I remember we even did an immediate reaction.
It was an upset too. Bellew was supposed to lose that fight.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, obviously, because he was a knockout artist as well, Makabu. If you look at his record as well.
But negative Ness would be like, who'd he knock out?
I know, but
I wouldn't say that. I would just say that
you did say it though.
I would say that Bernard Hopkins is more known and more accomplished than Makabu. So Joe Smith Jr. was more of an underdog than Bellew. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but it's the fashion. Yeah, true. I know what you're saying, but yeah, it was a good knockout to Joe Smith and Bernard Hopkins one as well. Just for the fact I think that he fell out of the ring. If he didn't fall out of the ring,
that was sexy, man. That took me back to WWF,
of course.
man.
Yeah. Of course, but if he didn't fall out of the ring, everyone wouldn't have been talking about as much as they would.
I don't know.
Yeah, I disagree, actually.
Big K, I think you're wrong because remember, no one ever knocked out B-Hop. So regardless, it's the first time he knocked him out into retirement.
I think if he didn't get knocked out of the ring, I think he would have gotten up and been knocked out even worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was
because Bernard Hopkins, even when he hit his head on the floor, was still up.
Yeah, that guy doesn't go out.
A young prospect was going to come up and knock out Bernard Hopkins if he carried on fighting. Someone else would have just knocked him out.
Mm-hmm. Big K,
No. I'm saying he would have got up in that fight and maybe been sent to the hospital. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because he was gonna, he was probably gonna make the count. You know what I mean? Big K, let me get to some other callers, bro. Oh, you have something?
All right, everyone, hit the thumbs up, man.
Did you have something? I felt like I cut you off right there.
Who, me?
Yes, you.
No, I said everyone hit the thumbs up.
All right, brother, you're the man. Let's get to CJ West. CJ.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Where you calling in from?
Australia, mate. Happy New Year from down under.
Oh, happy New Year, brother.
Yeah, look, I only got a top 3 myself. I'm going to be real quick as well. I've got to be quick. Wilder gets third for me. Then it's Canelo, and then the top one, it's got to be Smith, mate. Like you said, it's through the ropes, never been knocked out. So it's short and sweet from down under this core, mate. So there's my top 3.
Thank you for calling in, CJ. Another Australian caller, man. First time calling in, by the way. I appreciate it.
Second time.
Oh, really? All right. Well, that's why you got to call more frequently, CJ. But I want to thank you for being short and sweet. We're going to get to a couple others we got here. We got some alumni we're going to get to. And then we'll get our tally, man. We'll get our tally together and see who is the overwhelming favorite of the streets.
I told y'all a long time ago that Kirkland will go down in 3 rounds. Right hand. Now goes Kirkland. Strap me up. Who's next? I got milk, baby.
Yeah, it's the milkman, baby. I'm back. What it is, what it do.
What up, milkman? Talk to me. So who are your top 4 and your all-time number 1 2016 knockout of the year?
Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, I thought it was fighter of the year. Okay, I knockout of the year. Damn, coming in at shit, man. I don't know that stuff. Let me just give you one. I will give you. I don't know, man. I gotta say Bernard Hopkins, man. Give me B-Hop, man.
That's who I picked. Joe Smith knocking out B-Hop through the ropes.
B-Hop, although, Joe did lean on him with his shoulder, and I don't think he actually landed a punch.
You got to be kidding me.
To let Bernard Hopkins tell it. Because, B-Hop ain't going to give nobody no credit. But, yeah, I got to give me B-Hop, man. Nobody's ever stopped them, knocked them out, and damn, Joe Smith knocked him through the ropes. So that was pretty impressive.
I agree. Milkman, thanks for calling in. We're going to tally that up.
Yo, I think another honorable mention is Orlando Cruz versus Terry Flanagan.
That's fucked up. Come on, man.
It's an honorable mention.
That was an awful knockout.
I didn't even see that. I don't remember that. Alex Lemon, talk to me.
What's going on, man? I got to get my vote in. I got to say B-Hop, man, getting knocked out of the ring, number 1 knockout of the year.
That's
and
right.
Then, honorable mention will be what's up?
I said that's right. That's the one I picked.
Hell yeah. And then Canelo and Conor is an honorable mention, but B-Hop by far, that's the one that's in my memory for the whole year. That took it over.
All right, Alex, we're tallying it up. We're gonna check that list. 224, you're up. Who's this? Where you calling from?
It's your boy Matt.
You broke up there, buddy. Our boy who? Man, he's
Carmelo.
Oh,
what
Carmelo,
up,
what up? Carmelo from Chicago.
Man?
What
I'm
up?
gonna go with
and look at
I'm
Steven.
gonna go with the car knockout, man. He was smaller moving up. That was brutal.
Dan, that's your number 1?
You see, I don't want to do Bernard Hopkins like that, man. I got so much respect for him.
Okay.
That's hands down. That was the best one. Y'all know that everybody gonna pick B-Hop knockout. I don't want to say it though. I got too much respect for him. I'm gonna go with the car one though. I have respect for B-Hop.
All right, Mello. Well, Matt, give us a tally, baby. We're gonna get this up and see who picked what.
What was this pick again? Sorry.
If you're watching this on YouTube, present, past, or future, hit that thumbs up button. 2016 KO of the year. He picked Khan, man.
Yeah.
That was
You picked Khan?
Yeah, that's what he said.
And Ness, just
you said Khan, right?
Yeah, I picked Khan, man. I want to say B-Hop, but I got too much respect for B-Hop. I ain't going to do him like that.
Okay.
I'm going to say Khan, though, even though he's a smaller man moving up.
All right. And, it's funny that they're not even saying, like, knockout of the year goes to Canelo for knocking out Khan. It's just like the knockout of the year is the guy that got knocked out.
No, dude, it's not just that. The knockout, sometimes it means more to you if you really despise the fighter getting knocked out. I know it sounds fucked up and animalistic, but hey, we're all fucking
But
human.
that's true. No,
and
you're
that's totally no. I definitely would imagine that some people got a lot of satisfaction watching Khan getting knocked the F out.
I don't know about
maybe that's
that.
it's totally a thing. People
That's not
totally
like no.
lean
That's
towards
not.
that. Dude, I'll
circum-
tell you this: knockout of the year when Marquez knocked out Pacquiao, a lot of people were waiting for what they felt was like.
It's not a majority of people, but there's
a lot of people are like,
listen,
finally gets the win.
Marquez
No,
Pacquiao fought 3.
all I'm arguing is no, don't pay attention to the fight. I'm only arguing that there's an emotional connection to a knockout if you're pulling for or against a particular fighter. I'm not sure if I had an emotional kind of like pull towards a certain fighter this year to where it led to like that great knockout. Because like I said, Bernard Hopkins getting knocked out definitely deserves a lot of attention. I can't have it as number one, even if it might deserve it or not. But it's because I liked Hopkins so much that watching him get stopped like that, I can't give that number one. Just like how the previous callers.
You guys are just like, you're like.
That's the most emotional. Where's the violin soundbite?
Yo, he's like being like
Jesus Christ.
He's like telling you literally like I'm not gonna pick him because I feel bad. Like, what's up with you guys?
And that's what I was saying is like
no, hold on, no.
So
But I'm saying that you could root against a fighter too if you really disliked him, like the Khan thing. Like Khan would be knockout of the year for me, but I'm not gonna put a knockout.
You're saying you're not gonna make B-Hop the knockout of the year because you respect him? My man, if he got knocked,
I'm saying it's not knockout of the year because it wasn't satisfying for me.
He didn't get off.
I could have my own criteria.
That's a ridiculous. Like, listen, I get it, but that's like again. But what I was saying originally about Ness is that's definitely the closest number 2 for me is the B-Hop knockout. But my thing is like, so then by your standards, if you like, let's just say you were really big on Erickson Lubin, right? And you like him, and he gets upset, knocked out brutally by an unknown, a tune-up. Do you then disqualify that from upset of the year or knockout of the year because you have emotional investment? Like you can't.
No, because I would agree that Joe Smith deserves upset. No, I would agree that Joe Smith deserves upset of the year by far. I would only say that I wouldn't be able to give it my knockout of the year because I would have no satisfaction.
But you'd be able to give him upset of the year though.
By far. I don't see why not. Why not?
Okay. It's just when you attach knockout of the year, the knockouts attached so that emotionally affects you.
Nail on the fucking head.
FYI for Lubin, he's not even like Lubin is not even on the J-Rock level.
Yeah, I mean, I was just
supposing that I was a big backer.
So to say that if he were to get knocked out would be an upset, I don't think that's, it would be an upset to us, the hipsters as well, who are pegging him to be everything and more. But for the average boxing fan that doesn't know who the fuck,
take out Lubin. Just Boxer X is just a person that fans naturally have an emotional connection to who they root for. That's an obvious.
Crawford got knocked out by Molina, and you're a big Crawford fan. Better example?
No, that would be upset. That would be upset. Crawford, that's an upset because of the accomplishments that Crawford has. That's what I'm saying. Like Lubin looks the part, but he hasn't done it yet. So call it an upset.
You're focusing too much. You're focusing too much on the analogy rather than the emotional attachment.
It also goes with what's competing with it. Like they're like Khan getting knocked out. That was like when you see it. If you don't know boxing and you see that knockout, you're like, whoa, that was fucking huge. And it was for a title fight, and it was really big, and it's pay-per-view. So that's why that one definitely deserves an honorable mention. If I didn't know any better, and if I really didn't like Khan, if Maidana would have stopped Broner, that would have been knockout of the year by far, because a lot of people despised Broner.
Steven,
so
what's your number one, man? What's your number one?
No, man, you're taking a little long as hell on this list.
I don't want to say it's like Vasyl Lomachenko versus Martinez. I don't want to say it is,
but it is. It's going down as that.
It might go down as that because
one.
I think I think I'm gonna give it to Lomachenko over Martinez because
Pick one.
I'm picking Loma over Martinez because that was Lomachenko moving up in weight. It was his first fight. It was for Martinez's title. It was also, not only was it unique in that no one had ever done it that way, but what's his name had just come off of 2 big fights with Salido that he had won. So he proved that he wasn't a spent bullet. So that was against a legitimate, tough 130-pound, top 130-pound in my eye. And
it also had it also had a lot of style points too.
Dude, exactly. It was sexy.
No, that's a great one.
And it was satisfying because I don't like Martinez because I root for Salido, and Salido's Mexican and Martinez is Puerto Rican, so there's a natural rivalry there. You know, like, get the heck out of here.
I'm glad the violins are on for that second half of the statement.
I mean, you guys really, my friends, really.
Would you? But Ness, if Keith Thurman knocks out, if Keith Thurman one times Danny Garcia, would you be willing to pick him as knockout of the year?
If it looks anything like any of these, yeah. And especially the 2 high-level opponents. Larry from San Francisco, talk to us. Larry said he was ready, but he's not. All right.
Could you be a fan of San Francisco and Anaheim?
If Carl Frampton would have,
tally up, Matt, we got to get out of here. You guys are.
I already have the
if Carl Frampton stops Santa Cruz, is that knockout of the year?
Crawford, if who?
Depends on the knockout.
Frampton stops Santa Cruz. Let's say he knocks him out with like an amazing left hook. Or
90 seconds.
It's improbable, but not impossible. So I would say, yeah, it
improbable, not impossible. Makes it look pretty too.
But for my criteria, he would have to generate enough punching power to sleep him, not just stop him. Like, I don't see him, Carl Frampton, being that type of puncher.
I agree.
Left hook,
okay, so what's the difference between Lomachenko jumping up in weight and doing that to Martinez, who is a respected 130?
Who the fuck said he was respected?
I said he's respected.
You're being nice.
Wait, who are we talking about? Rocky Martinez?
All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's respected. What the hell? Come on, Ness.
Larry's ready.
He's a little past his prime, but like, come on. That's
respected.
Yo, what the fuck do you guys mean he's respected? But listen, first of all, he's been a Bob Arum pet.
He's top 10.
He's been a Bob Arum pet for so long. If Bob lets him go to fight the rest of the world, they would beat the brakes off this dude. Okay? Top 10 because there ain't nobody there. Larry, talk to us.
Hey, appreciate that, y'all. Big ups to the Boxing Voice on the KO show. Hey, so I got to agree with Ness on one point. There's certain levels to this. So even though Nadam and Ndongo and those knockouts were brutal.
10 seconds.
They just don't have the platform or the stage to get in the KO of the year conversation. So with that said, I think it comes down to 3 knockouts, and it depends on what warts you're going to overlook. For example, Canelo over Khan, it looked like Khan got shot by a sniper in the stand somewhere, and he just twirled around and went down. So in and of itself, that's a beautiful knockout, but you can't overlook the chinniness and the fact that, Canelo was a light heavyweight that night. Joe Smith Jr., I love that knockout. Love the combination. Love the way B-Hop fell through the ropes and then tried to say he turned his ankle and got pushed and all manner of things. The stage was there, the platform was there, and the knockout was nice to see. But B-Hop dang near a senior citizen, and that's not even like a stretch to say that. So you got to factor that in. So with that said, I got to agree with my boy Steven there. Lomachenko's knockout was pretty. It came at the end of a beautiful combination. And say what you want about Rocky Martinez, it's revisionist history now about how much he sucks. He's a good fighter, not great, but he's a top 10 130, and 130 is a
yo. If he's such a top 10, Larry, no. If he's such a top 10, name one fighter he beat. Name one.
Can't do it.
Exactly. It's hard even for me.
Can't do it.
It's hard even for me.
Dude, he beat Salido. Vasyl Lomachenko's early career based off beating Salido.
All right. Hey, Steven. And when I checked that.
I think he had
And when I checked that on BoxRec, right?
I think it was.
Go ahead, Larry, because I'm phone jacking you anyway. But I just wanted you to know everyone has this guy ranked so high, but he ain't beaten nobody. He's got one win over Salido, which, you know, means what? Like, yeah, Salido's mad tough, and we know he's durable and all that, but like Salido got like 14 losses. 14.
Okay, Ness, I didn't want to go here with this show, but who Scott Quigg beat? Because you were beating the drum for him the other day.
So we're in the same boat. So we're in the same boat, right? We're in the same boat because this guy, he ain't done much or nothing.
But he wasn't in that boat with me the other day, so you can't get in the boat now. You wasn't in the boat then. You can't jump in it right now.
But why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I learn from what you taught me? That's what we do. You called in, you put me on something, and I'm using it against you now.
Hey, I wasn't prepared for such humility. You caught me off guard with that. So big my bad. I'm gonna leave it at this. Lomachenko's knockout has the least amount of warts on it. His opponent was not a senior citizen, nor did he have a glass jaw and a 20-pound weight discrepancy. If you want to give it to Joe Smith or Canelo, I can understand that because those are spectacular. But I'm going to say Lomachenko based on how pretty it was and based on I think the opponent was the most credible when you look at it that way. With that said, love y'all. TBV for life. I'm out.
Larry, thanks. So, Matt, give us the people's choice.
Well, unfortunately, we have a tie.
What?
And Steven, the producer, and Larry could have beat the tie, but they've chosen not to.
Wait. Don't even say it. Don't even say it. Let me see if I can convince someone to press one. Someone press one and be the tiebreaker. Pop that cherry, ladies and gentlemen. I know you don't like calling in.
Will be there if you're gonna pop up that quick, and he's gonna take it that quick.
I think we should get the man himself to call in because he listens to the show, right? The man himself.
Who's the man?
You know.
Who?
Who's the tie? Who's the tie? Who's involved in the tie?
We don't know. Where's my soundbite?
We do know it's going to be Wilder. It's going to.
Nope.
It's not Wilder.
Nope.
We don't know.
So then it's going to be Amir Khan.
Fuck is Enrique?
It's going to be. It's
Come on, Enrique.
Amir Khan and B-Hop.
Arizona 214. That's what? Texas. 917. That's New York City. What's up? Hit one. They don't want to hit one. That's it. So fuck it. It's a tie. Name it. Who's the tie?
Amir Khan B-Hop.
Did we go to Amin? I'll go to Amin by default.
No. We got his. We got his.
The tie is between Canelo Alvarez, Amir Khan, and Joe Smith Jr. defeating Bernard Hopkins.
All right, that's not bad. At least my boy Joe didn't get the shaft.
Yeah. No, tie.
Well, I mean,
getting honorable mention is not a bad thing.
So can we revote on that? Because I think that B-Hop should be the number one, not Khan Canelo. I'll revote on that because my top five's not in there. So that's the tiebreaker.
Why wasn't yours in there?
Well, it's not one or two. Mine's Alfonso Blanco getting knocked out by him.
But we're hipsters. We're hipsters, MD.
Yeah. Embrace yourselves. Listen, it's all good.
Yeah, dude. Don't sacrifice your soul for the show, man.
No, I'm not. I'm saying out of those two, the tiebreaker, I give it to Joe Smith.
You can't revote.
You can't revote.
That's not.
All the Hillary supporters would be like, "Yo, let's do it again."
Listen, man. All I'm saying is that we needed.
You're a Hillary voter right now, MD. That's
all I'm saying is that we needed a tiebreaker, so I established it. Unless we need another vote.
You didn't establish anything. It's
called a. Yes, do you know what a runoff is?
Because then we gotta let everybody call.
Okay, so let's have a runoff.
We gotta let everybody call back
runoff. I mean, that's you're being,
Gentlemen, relax. Listen, it's very simple. The discussion can continue to live on with the views. People can continue to put their nominations in the comments, and ultimately, we'll see in a couple of weeks.
And for the record, the 2016 Boxing Voice Knockout of the Year is Joe Smith knocking out Bernard Hopkins.
It actually isn't. It's a tie.
Stop fighting over it.
You guys are like Joker and Batman. I love it. Listen, I'm your host, Nestor Gibbs. You can find me on Instagram at NestGTO and on Twitter at NestGTO. You can find my co-host, The Good Doctor, at.
You can find me at BoxingMD1 on Twitter.
And you can find Steven, the producer, at.
You can find me on Twitter at Caldor92 and on Instagram at sugar_Steve.c.
And Matthew, the editor, who I hope learns the ropes.
You can find me on Twitter at.
Here.
You can find me on Twitter at Mixed Combat News and on Facebook at Mixed Combat Radio.
A horrible Twitter name, right? Stephen and him both horrible. Mixed Combat News.
But how do you know it's mixed MMA? It could be mixed, like, you know, mixing food. You know,
Well, it's mixed combat. Like,
What the hell's the matter with my name?
yeah, mixing it up. You know, so you know, Ness, you don't need to be such a hater, right?
Steve, Sugar Steve, and then this guy's like,
Man, that's even boxing related. What the fuck you talking about, man?
Mixed combat. That means I don't just watch boxing.
I don't know why my voice is lower.
I'm out, man. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. See you guys. Maybe mañanas.
But Ness GTO, he drives cars, right?